Hey YouTube, how are we all doing? Lego Leprechaun here again, guys, and this time with a mini section of the city update. um, Today, guys, we're just showing you the next part of the city that's going to be added. And when I say added, I'm actually in my building shed, because if I was to build it inside in the actual display shed itself, there'd be too much overreaching from the ground, because it's four base plates deep. But before we get into it, I just want to thank everybody as always, guys, on your comments and thumbs up and subscriptions on my last video. On my last video. Just a massive amount of gratification, guys, for all your positivity. It's, as always, I love seeing it in the comments. So, without further ado, let's get into it. It's only going to be a small update again here, guys, on this, because the next update is placing it. And the reason it's in here is because I have a small bit more work to do on it before I actually place it in the shed. But I said I'd just bring it in, or shall I say, I said I'd actually put a video on it before I bring it back into the shed, the display shed. So, yeah, let's dive in. As you can see here, guys, we have the Birchbooks Townhouse Modular slap dab here, and I thought that was a lovely modular that came out a year and a half ago, or the year before last. And I wanted when I saw it, because we're on a 16 stud plate, I knew straight away they'd be lovely as a townhouse in a few different colours. And secondly, because I knew I was going to be rising the levels of the city, I wanted to try and put them in somewhere in a kind of a step formation. And literally, that dream came true for me. I did a little bit of research on colours, and there's, again, with Lego, as you know, guys, there's so many different colours. But I played with the green because I had some of this in my drawers, in my storage drawers, and the green came out nice. And then immediately I knew that the orange and yellow kind of theme kind of went nice with it as well. Now I was looking into the whole kind of purpley thing and kind of pink, like the diner colour here, and I don't have purple there now, but, or maybe, hold on, this little fig here, she's a bit of purple. So I was playing around with that whole idea, and I was going to just one or the other, either the kind of limey, yellowy, orangey kind of colour, or the purple and pinky, and maybe lilac or lavender or whatever. So I decided to go with this, guys, because I already had green, and I thought, bang on. So all I got really was orange and yellow after that, or all I had to get. So yeah, so there were the buildings, and I'm not too sure. We have the Emporium up here, and it's the Grand Corner building, as you can see. And the reason I put it there for now, and I'm not too sure will I hold it there, is because we have the colour of that turquoisey, turquoise townhouse going with the sandy beige is down here. I decided to put the diner. Now, as you know, if you have your modulars in your cities, a diner is kind of hard to place, and it's the same with the new police station as well, because of the sign on the side of it, which I have and I didn't build yet. But I do know, like, they're kind of hard to place. But this fitted nicely for me, because again, with the townhouses, they're kind of more of the smaller modular building that came out in most recent years. And if you've noticed in the last kind of, I suppose, what, 3 to 4, maybe 5 years even now, with the Assembly Square and the Prison Restaurant and stuff like that, they're kind of smaller buildings than what they were in 2007, 8, 9 and 10, when the original big modulars came out at the start. So this kind of sat nicely as a corner at the end of the street diner, where people could go for a meal in the evening if they wanted. So it's a kind of a nice size. But getting back to it, the reason I have it there is because the colour, which you have the turquoise on the side and the sandy beige, and I thought, look, if I bring up the actual turquoisey on the townhouse along with the beige of the Emporium, they'll kind of match, which the colours do to what I was looking for. But the building is just big. It's so big, so I'm still playing with the idea of that. There's a fair enough drop from the back of that to these ones as well, so I'll see. I'll play around. There's not much else you can put in there. I don't have the cafe corner, which is the one that was out obviously around 2007 or 8 or 9 or whatever came out around that time. And I was looking at it, and I was looking at some mocks that people had done, or semi-mocks, which they had done in different colours, and I wouldn't mind maybe doing one custom kind of in white, and I have a lot of these left over, obviously, because the a lot of the turquoise colour left over because of these other colours that I changed in them, you know. So I'll see. I'll play with the idea. But getting to the road part and the path, guys, that was probably the hardest part. Like, as you can see with the road here, this is literally a Lego wall built and just laid down. And how I done that, literally, guys, was built the length that I wanted, lay it down here on the actual base plates, and then put my palm in here where this is, lifted it up, and wherever kind of fell down here naturally is where I let it lie. And then the actual curbing itself here in the step formation, I literally put that at the side of it where the wall would sink down beyond the road itself to give that look of a realistic look. Now, I would have liked to have done the curb in line with the road, as in sloping it down. But the problem with that is you couldn't match the level of the houses. They're in step formation, and there's no way would it have worked. Well, maybe if I played with it longer. There's no such thing as not being able in Lego. I believe you can actually get your head around it once you stick at it. But in this case, the steps just matched the levels. So we have a higher one here, obviously, and then it comes down, and then you can walk in here to the actual houses themselves, you know. So to me, that was what's going to go ahead for now, you know. The road then itself, as you can see, the pieces lifted up, built the wall and bent it over. But you know, it's funny, you learn something new about Lego all the time. When you join such a long strip, and I didn't want to do sections, in other words, I didn't want to do a base plate of a section and then do another section and another section. I wanted to actually run this so smooth up and let it fall naturally. I didn't want a straight run up like that of smaller plates. I wanted to kind of bend it, so that's why I done the actual the whole length. But where I've pinned it here with our modified we'd say 1x2 with our studs at the side, that's how I pinned the road here at this end. Okay, and where I pinned it there, by the time I got up to here, and before I even elevated the road itself, guys, it was actually on a straight running here along the base plates before I put height into it. And the dots didn't line up. They didn't line up, and I came across this before, and what I mean by that is I pinned it here, and as I came out further and further here with the strip, and it came up as far as the end here, it wouldn't stick. It was coming to halfway. So what happens is when you join all the pieces together like this over a length, I can see why people do mills plates roads in sections of 32 studs by 32. But I did notice when you put one up next to the other, there's a slight gap in between them. And again, I didn't know this, like when I said I came across it before, is that I was building a masonry brick wall, and if you put bricks like this, for example, here's a hint or tip now just for any of you that are doing it. If you put, we'd say, your 2x2 like this, and especially with masonry, what you want to do, excuse me now, I have the camera off there, you want to actually, you know, do it strong by putting a brick in the centre and carry on. But actually, for curiosity, do that maybe 2 or 3 bricks high and run it more than a base plate and a half, and suddenly you start seeing the base plate bend up. The Lego shortens the longer the wall is, or whatever you're doing. In this case, was my road, which is like a wall on its side. But I actually pinned them all together, and when I actually tried to stick it up here, the board is rising and it's actually bending back at an angle. Now, that's not going to stop me doing what I'm going to do. But all I'm saying is, I couldn't believe it. Like, you learn something new all the time with Lego. Like, if you do, we'd say 32, and you'd have to do it, we'd say, if you're doing a masonry brick, you do it one brick next to the other like that, and then what you literally do is you're better off catching the other brick and put it on top of it like that, because the board won't bend on you, you know. And I came across that before, but I didn't realise if you're to do a lot of brick like this, and if you were literally to turn that wall up and stand it down that way, it would not stick the whole way along, you know. You'd have to do it in sections, hence the reason I think most people do it in, we say 32 by 32. Now, whether they know that or not, I don't know. I wanted to do the strip because I wanted a natural fall, you know, but in doing so, I didn't realise that the Lego was going to shorten. So that's just a little friendly hint or tip here for any of the builders out there. But yeah, guys, again, look, that's me taking off in a bit of a tangent there. I just wanted to explain some, you know, things that happen as I go along on my journey with this. Like, you know, anyone that's ever thinking of doing it themselves anyway, you know. But all it is basically is a mini city update, guys. This will be going in here on the other side of the square, which I will do soon. But what I want to do was just get a path up here first, on this side of it. And believe me, it takes an awful lot of Lego. And I'm out on normal grey plates, base plates like these. So I will be waiting for an order, and you need them put down underneath the tile, and I'm also out of tiles as well. So before I bring this into the city, well, I could probably bring it in once I bring this structure work here first, and that could be done with anything. And look, have a look underneath there. If you ever see the ultimate crap heap of support in different colours, it's in there. It's the same with the back cave, guys. You try and put the groundwork in any colour, because up top or whatever or out front is going to be the actual colour that you want displayed, like the grey and the dark grey. So yeah, so we'll see how we get on. I said I'll wait here for the next few days, and I'll actually put up some of the rock or the base work here before the grey will come in. I could probably ship it in then to the city and show you the overall and how it blends in, you know. So yeah, guys, so that's my little mini section city update. Just tell me what you think, guys, in the comments. It'll make much more sense, obviously, when it's inside, because you'll see where it's going. I will be building a few more mills, plates, roads as well. I have a few bits for that. And I can talk about where it's going and how it all connects when I bring it into the city. So yeah, guys, thanks again. And till the next video, Lego Leprechaun out.